feel very lucky to have worked at Square Roots. Now I think a Series B company. I joined, yeah, as you said, the sixth employee on my first day. We were picking up desks and moving them to the office. And as an English major, the joke that I tell people is that I wrote a very convincing cover letter to convince them to hire me for this finance job. And I quickly realized that there was a lot that I didn't know as it pertains to finance and accounting. And now I understand accounting is its own language. And so despite that, I covered my blind spots and got a lot of help and support from the CEO there. But yeah, I set up FP&A, I set up investor relations, cap table management, people operations, budgeting with departments, OKR planning with other teams. It was really a great education and introduction into startup life. My motivating thing there was that there was just so much to work on and so much to learn. It was such a great opportunity for me. And the first thing that I did, and I would encourage anyone that when you realize there's stuff that you don't know, is to tell someone, hey, I don't know some stuff, because there's so much power in owning that, because you can then get help. So yeah, I remember the conversation with my CEO very distinctly. I said, hey, there's a lot with accounting that I'm not sure about. And he was like, okay, no problem. And I actually recommended, hey, I can go take online accounting classes. And he said, go for it. So I did that kind of on nights and weekends and knew enough information to speak the accounting language. But yeah, I had the support of my CEO, which was great. But I think once I got more familiar with accounting and understood the relationship accounting and finance have with one another, I actually realized that a lot of it involves storytelling. And so it kind of brought me back to this English major that I studied for 4 years. Accounting tells us the story of what has happened in the past. And, you can get creative with that story. People do. But finance tells us, hey, here's a story that we think, or here's a story that we want to have happen, and here's how we're going to do it. So both functional areas are very much storytelling. And so, I was this English major reading Shakespeare, and now like crafting narratives of, here's how we're going to go raise a Series A, and here's what we're going to do with that money, and here's where the expenses are going to go. Here's how our revenues are going to grow. It was very similar to structuring any other paper that I'd written as an undergrad. Yeah. I would recommend like not doing the work yourself, because there's other higher impact areas that you can do, namely around your product, hiring the right people, raising money. So you're left with two options, or you're left with the question, all right, who owns that work? You can outsource it, you can hire for it. I think often what I recommend to people is find a contractor that is one person that has done this exact work before, and allow them to do it for you. I have done finance consulting for a couple startups, and what's different between outsourcing it to another company is another company has 30 other clients. They're not going to take the time or really have the time to learn your business that intimately. And if you're working with someone one-on-one, like an independent contractor, you're able to develop a relationship with this person, which is much more important for you to have trust in their work and trust the numbers. Or you can hire someone, but a finance hire, I think, is a luxury and not really necessary too early on.